The kid is an absolute 100% gilt-edged natural.
Jude Bellingham shoots and scores!
Anybody without any knowledge of football would look at that game and say, do you know what, that kid's got it.
I've been given my chance in the league, in the Champions League, in the Cup, and I've taken it so far, so I've just got to keep going.
He's a shining example, not just the academy. I think the beauty is he's a shining example for the city of Birmingham.
Bellingham! They absolutely love him here!
I think he'd be the best player in the world, easily.
This is a working class area. Football is massive in this part of the world. St Andrews, Villa Park, the Hawthorns, those are the churches for people. That's where their religion is, that's where they go. They have certain demands. Whatever your team lacks, they don't mind if your team is outthought, outplayed, but the minute it's outfought, they get angry. So they demand hard work. We're a working class area who demands hard work and commitment and loyalty. And this kid handled that pressure. You and I probably don't understand it, but at 16 to handle that pressure in front of a big crowd, on the pitch, against grown men, that takes some doing. His mum and dad are proud as punch, and rightly so, and they have a lot of credit to take, you know, because they brought him up properly, which is why he uses class. There's nothing cocky or arrogant about this young man, till he gets the ball at his feet. But off the pitch, he is an absolute 100% gentleman, and that's the upbringing.
Jude had an incredibly supportive family. His parents were brilliant. They had really high expectations of what they wanted for him and how they wanted him to be. I genuinely think it's a huge reason why he is where he is, because they set those expectations for him, but they did it with lots of love and support as well. Yeah, if they could sell the formula, that would be great. My first memory of Jude was actually at my interview day. He actually interviewed me as part of the school council to see whether I got the job. So there's a group of children from different classes that come, and the candidates then have a meeting with them, and the kids ask questions and you answer them. And I think it's to see how you interact with the children and stuff. He must have put in a good word because I got it. So. He was fiercely competitive, but in a quiet and kind way. He wasn't in your face about it. He would do any sport that was going, and in fact, like cricket was a sport that he showed a lot of resilience in. He hadn't really picked up a bat or ball. He trained, did the trial, and he didn't get into the team. But then Jude then spent the summer with his dad practicing, working on it, and came back and was one of the best players on the team the following year, and took the school for the first time to the national finals. We had a PE lesson and we were doing football, and Jude was on a team that it wasn't as strong as one of the teams he was up against. He was up against some of his friends and some very competitive children, and so Jude, being the sort of child he was, he skipped past a couple of them with the ball, and he then would make sure he would square the ball so that one of the girls in particular who wasn't finding football easy, he would square it so that she would have the opportunity to score.
My mum is the best woman in the world in my eyes, you know. Does everything for me, and I couldn't thank her enough for everything she does.
I knew he was capable of it from, you know, the way he was at school and everything, but the past year he's grown so much. A lot has happened in a short space of time. I can't believe it, but yeah, you know, very proud, and if he's happy, I'm happy really. So, you happy? I'm happy.
I'm sure my black country tones haven't come through very much. All right, mate, how you doing? Oh, that Jude's Boston, are you? This is where Jude first started out playing his football with myself, about 4 years of age. He used to come to our Saturday training sessions. The chasing games, the fun games and everything, he absolutely loved, and to be fair, he'd win every time. But as soon as you actually put a football down and we played a match, no, he'd sit on the floor, he'd be picking the grass, he'd be sort of running off, not interested whatsoever. His mum came up to me at the end of one of the training sessions and said, no, I don't want to bring him anymore, he's just not interested. I sort of said, well, you know, you've got to persist with it. He's, you can tell by his athleticism, he's got it. He carried on playing and he got more and more involved and in the games, and you know, each week he got, say, maybe 5 minutes and 10 minutes in the games at the end and so on. And by the age of probably about 7, he sort of virtually was in the top group, playing with children a lot older than him. You watch a game of football, especially at grassroots level, and you look at the different players, and it's the way they are with the ball at their feet. Anybody without any knowledge of football would look at that game and say, do you know what, that kid's got it. I mean, I remember sometimes, he'd have scored, I don't know, 6, 7 goals, and we'd put him in goal to say, right, okay, just get the ball now, just pass it out, and the ball would come back to him, and he'd do it a few times and think, bored of this now. So he'd get the ball and dribble, goal. And he was like standing on the set, sideline, shaking out, thinking, we put you in goal for a reason, but he didn't really care. It was great to see, but yeah, that's a standout moment for me. You know, we did have a laugh about that.
I was here with his first session at 7, and I was actually out on the pitch when I was helping with the first team, so I was here for his last session. It's just a very unique story and journey that was never planned, it just kind of happened for both of us. Like most kids, loved scoring goals, running around, ridiculous haircuts. He used to have, you will not appreciate this one, he used to have the old Ronaldo haircut, and I mean, people that are watching this might know, so it's like shaved all his head but left a tuft at the front of his head. So he had like a tuft of hair like at the front and shaved the rest, so he's had some bad haircuts.
I got into the game at 7 and didn't really enjoy it, but I had a bit of raw talent, and I went to Birmingham and they nurtured it perfectly until I was 16.
I learned very quickly from when he was quite a young age that he always wanted challenging, and if he wasn't challenged, he would act out, is probably the right phrase to use. But actually that behaviour was just, this is too easy for me. Like, I want the next thing, and I realised that very, very quickly.
Pretty tough.
I used to do all his reviews and sit down, and we had a conversation around, right, what's the next step for you, what's the next stage in terms of your development, and we spoke around what position do you want to be, like what position do you see yourself playing, and I just said, I think you could be a 22. The 3 positions in midfield are a number 10, which is an attacking midfielder, a number 8, which is like a box-to-box midfielder, and I know in Europe they call it a 6, but we called it a 4, which is a holding midfielder, and I said, look, if you add all those numbers together, it's a 22. We feel that you can do all 3 positions, and we feel you can do all 3 positions in the game. Obviously Jude's age group here, so his scholarship group. Obviously you'll see his is slightly different. That's actually a first team picture, so he was actually in with the first team at this point. So all the boys have got their own photos, but obviously we had to almost superimpose him on. the reality is, and I genuinely mean this, he probably taught me more than I've taught him in terms of how to deal with top players, how to deal with difficult situations, because there's been a few, how to allow players to have their own voice. And I say that to a lot of people. The reality is from a personal perspective, as a person, in terms of how I deal with people, and from a coach, from a professional perspective, he probably taught me more than what I actually taught him.
Predator.
All the time I've known him, he's training like at least 4 or 5 days a week, and then he's got a match. Like the sacrifice he's like had to give is like big, and like that's why he's deserved everything he's got, because it's not just been given to him like on a plate. The first day I met him, we were at a sport induction day, and he was quiet. Like, he didn't really talk a lot, and then he started playing, and then yeah, he didn't really say anything else. I remember I was chasing him for the whole hour. I couldn't get near him. It was quite embarrassing because I was playing at like a lower level. Like, it made me realise how far off I was off being a professional.
So here we were, we must have been 11 years old, and this was the cup final, and we won 7-1, and Jude scored all 7. So there. So without him, we wouldn't have gone that game, which kind of summed up his whole time at our school.
All the time arguing about Villa Blues because they're biggest rivals in England. I'm a Villa fan, so when he was playing for Blues, it was crazy. He got me watching Blues. I don't like to admit it because I hate Birmingham, but like watching him, it was just surreal really, and watching him live as well with all like the crowd, because he was loved there.
This is Birmingham's club. Aston Villa are a bigger club, they've got a bigger history, but this club has got the people of Birmingham. This is a Birmingham club where people feel it. They come here and this is their life. Over the last 10 years, it's been reasonably miserable, but the fans have stuck with them. Listen, this club's been in the doldrums. We've needed a cult hero for a long time, and all of a sudden along comes Jude Bellingham and becomes one.
Because he's a homegrown player, that passion and commitment, we're not going to have loads of money, so we want our teams to be hard-working, which is what the fan base is, and commit to the cause. And when you put on the shirt, we expect you to play for the shirt.
The way he used to speak to his teammates, like he weren't like a 16-year-old, he was like a captain.
Because he's born and bred in Birmingham, his family live here. Birmingham City supporters always take to their own.
The fans loved him, they still do now, you can tell by that. Do you know what I mean? He's loved by the Blues fans, and he always will be, and hopefully one day he comes back here.
To be perfectly honest with you, it was a question of not if, but when he would be sold, because there was no question he would eventually go. The club was in dire straits for money, and this was an absolute diamond. I think his dad went to see Man U, they went to see Borussia Dortmund, but I think it was Borussia Dortmund that impressed him most because of the way they gave youngsters a chance.
In life, you have to take opportunities, and you know, this is a huge one for me to play for such a great club, so it wasn't too hard making the decision to come here.
We were sorry to lose him to Dortmund, but the Blues supporters fully understood that in order to reach his full potential, he had to move on. At the end of the day, it's his career, and maybe one day he'll come back to us.
When he said I'm going to Dortmund, I said the only request I have is see if you can get the 22 number. And obviously when Michael Zorc let him know that the 22 would be his number, he rang me, which was a nice conversation.
There's a number of children that when it was fancy dress day, they came in with their Dortmund 22 Bellingham shirts, and there's a lot of people in the area that are very excited and very proud of the fact that Jude's come from here and what he's accomplished.
He's moved to Dortmund, and look what's happened. He's playing for England now, playing in the Euros, and you know, if he didn't make that move, he wouldn't be playing for England.
To see him put on the England shirt, I must admit I did made a grown man cry that did. I was so chuffed for him and, you know, and his family, like, you know what I mean? It was marvellous for them, and yeah, it was wonderful.
And he's come on bounds in Germany. Brilliant. Feel good for the lad. When Euros were on, we all had the England shirts on with Jude on the back. But now, and his brother looks like he's going to follow in the same footsteps.
We'll be keeping an eye on his younger brother.
Yeah. So
Don't tell him though, but everyone reckons he's better than Jude.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, he's at Birmingham, he's doing really well, so yeah, of course, I'm like a normal big brother, I'm just so proud of him.
His younger brother's here, and apparently he's going to be as good, so we're told. I've not seen that yet, but we'll wait and see about that. But Jude Bellingham is not only a wonderful footballer, but he's got the right attitude and the right character. He can be anything in the game he wants to be. He can be one of the greatest midfielders ever.
He's done what like some people do in their whole career in like 2 years of playing football. So like the sky's the limit, and I think he'd be the best player in the world, easily.
In 40, 50 years' time, he could be looked at back as one of the greats ever to play for England, which would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
The best predictor of the future is what's happened in the past, and if you look at what he's done already in a short space of time, would suggest he's got a massive future. He could go on to achieve whatever he wants to achieve.